In the winter of 1953, York's ancient streets lay cloaked in frost, the city's medieval heart pulsing quietly beneath a grey sky. The treasurer's house, a grand old pile of stone and secrets just steps from the towering York Minster, stood resolute against the cold. Its walls, thick with the weight of centuries, had seen bishops, treasurers, and wealthy merchants come and go. But beneath its polished floors, in the forgotten dark of its cellar, something older lingered, a shadow of Eberacum, the Roman fortress that had once commanded this land. Harry Martindale, a lanky plumber's apprentice, barely 18, didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in pipes, wrenches, and the promise of a steady paycheck. On that February morning, his breath fogging in the chill, he'd been sent to the treasurer's house to install a new central heating system. The job was straightforward. Run pipes through the cellar, a dank warren of stone beneath the house's elegant facade. Harry didn't mind the solitude. The Minster's bells tolled faintly above, and the work kept his hands busy and his mind quiet. The cellar was a world apart. Its walls, slick with damp, curved inward like the ribs of some ancient beast. The air was heavy, thick with the smell of earth and time. A single bulb hung from the ceiling, casting jagged shadows across the uneven floor. Harry's toolbox clattered as he set it down, the sound swallowed by the oppressive silence. He propped his ladder against a wall, its rungs creaking under his weight, and climbed up to wrestle with a stubborn pipe. He was halfway through tightening a fitting when the air changed. It began as a vibration, so faint he thought it was his own pulse. A rhythmic thump-thump, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. Harry froze, wrench in hand, his eyes darting to the shadows. The sound grew, not louder but closer, as if rising through the stones beneath his feet. It wasn't footsteps, not exactly, but the steady, relentless cadence of many feet moving as one. Then came the cold. Not the familiar bite of a Yorkshire winter, but something deeper, older, as if the breath of a long-dead era had brushed against his skin. Harry's breath hitched, clouding in front of him. The bulb flickered, its light dimming for a heartbeat. He gripped the ladder, his knuckles white, and listened. The sound sharpened into clarity. Marching. A disciplined, unyielding march, the kind that had once echoed across the Empire's frontiers. Harry's heart pounded, but he couldn't move. Couldn't look away from the far wall where the shadows seemed to thicken, to take form. And then they appeared. From the stone itself, as if stepping through the veil of time, came a line of Roman soldiers. There were no wisps of mist, no tricks of the light. These men were solid, their forms caked in the dust of a distant century. Green tunics hung from their broad shoulders, frayed at the edges but still vivid. Bronze helmets, dented and scarred, sat low on their brows. Each soldier bore a rectangular shield, its leather surface cracked but sturdy, and clutched a short sword or spear, the iron glinting faintly in the dim light. Their faces were hard, weathered by sun and war, their eyes fixed on some unseen horizon. But Harry's breath caught at the strangest detail. He could only see them from the knees up. It was as if they marched along a road that no longer existed, a path buried beneath centuries of earth and stone. The cellar floor, a foot or two higher than the ancient Roman road beneath, cut their forms in half, their legs hidden in the ghost of a world long gone. They moved in perfect step, their shields brushing against one another, their pace unbroken. The air grew colder still, heavy with the scent of leather, sweat, and iron. Harry clung to the ladder, his body rigid, his mind screaming to run, but his limbs locked in place. The soldiers passed beneath him, mere feet away. Their faces so close he could see the stubble on their jaws, the creases of fatigue around their eyes. They did not look at him. They did not falter. Their boots made no sound, though the rhythm of their march thrummed in Harry's chest like a second heartbeat. He counted 20 of them, maybe more, each as real as the wrench in his hand. A lone figure trailed at the end, a centurion. His red cloak tattered but unmistakable, his helmet adorned with a crest of stiff horsehair. Unlike the others, his gaze flickered, just for a moment, toward Harry. The boy's blood turned to ice. Those eyes, dark and fathomless, held no warmth, no recognition, only the weight of 1,000 years of duty. Then, as silently as they had come, the legion vanished into the opposite wall, swallowed by the stone. The cellar was still again, the air heavy but empty. The bulb buzzed faintly, casting its weak light across the unchanged room. The thump-thump of the march faded, leaving only the distant toll of the Minster's bells. Harry didn't remember dropping the wrench or scrambling down the ladder. He didn't remember tripping on the cellar steps or bursting into the daylight, his face pale as bone. He only remembered the terror, raw and unshakable, that clung to him like damp rot. The foreman found him outside, gasping, his story spilling out in broken fragments. The older man listened, his face unreadable, then sent Harry home with a pat on the shoulder and a muttered, "Get some rest, lad." But the story didn't end there. Word of Harry's encounter spread, first among the workmen, then through York's tight-knit streets. Skeptics scoffed, but others listened closely, their eyes narrowing. York was a city of stories, after all, and the treasurer's house had always carried an air of unease. When archaeologists caught wind of the tale, they descended on the cellar, their tools and notebooks in hand. What they found silenced the doubters. Beneath the house, just as Harry's vision suggested, lay the remains of a Roman road, the Via Principalis, a main artery of Ibericum. Its stones, worn smooth by centuries of boots, sat exactly where the soldiers' legs would have been hidden, a foot or two below the modern floor. The soldiers' appearance, too, was eerily precise. The green tunics, the rectangular shields, the short swords all matched the equipment of a 4th century Roman auxiliary unit, not the red-clad legionaries of popular imagination. Even the centurion's crest was correct, a detail Harry couldn't have known. The discovery cemented the tale in York's lore. The treasurer's house became a pilgrimage site for ghost hunters and historians alike, its cellar a place of hushed reverence. Visitors descended the narrow steps, their footsteps echoing where Harry's ladder once stood, their eyes scanning the walls for a glimpse of the impossible. Some claimed to feel it a sudden chill, a faint rhythm in the air, like the ghost of a march. Others swore they heard whispers, not in English, but in the clipped, guttural Latin of a long-dead empire. Harry never returned to the cellar. He left plumbing behind, taking a quieter job, though the memory of that day never left him. In the years that followed, he told his story sparingly, his voice steady but his eyes distant, as if still seeing those grim faces marching through the dark. He died decades later, his tale outliving him, etched into the city's bones. York itself carries on, its cobbled streets bustling with tourists and locals, its minster soaring above the rooftops. But beneath the city's modern hum, the old roads still lie, hidden under layers of earth and time. On quiet nights, when the wind is still and the minster's bells fall silent, some say the stones remember. They say the Roman guard still marches, their shields glinting in the dark, their steps echoing through the centuries. And in the cellar of the treasurer's house, where the past and present meet, the air grows cold, and the walls seem to listen. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, follow, subscribe, and comment below.